Now, as we mentioned earlier, a story that's just coming to us this morning is that the European Court of Human Rights has ruled Russia was responsible for the assassination of Alexander Litvinenko in the UK. Well, joining us now is the widow of Alexander, Marina Litvinenko. Good morning, Marina. Thank you so much for coming on the programme. We know you've fought tirelessly to get some justice in the case of your husband's poisoning. I mean, firstly, what is your reaction to this ruling?
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I think it's a very important news, not just for me. First of all, I'm very glad to say my legal team, who worked very hard to achieve this result, finally, we got it. I never ever would be able to do this without these people. And I think it's a very important result for my family, for my friends, and for many other Russian people who suffered and who can't prove in their own country all this crime against people. And what we have in 15 years after my husband was poisoned give another people a lot of hope.
Those 15 long years is just an extraordinary amount of time. What evidence came to light or was needed to actually get this judgment today?
First of all, I would like to remind it was a brilliant investigation provided by Scotland Yard straight after my husband was poisoned. And people who committed this crime and were suspect, as a prime suspect, been asked to extradite from Russia, but it never happened. We were waiting. It did not happen after another president changed. It was Dmitry Medvedev, and somebody here in UK believed something might change, but of course nothing changed. And after 2011, when we understand Putin is back to the post of president of Russia, who refused to extradite first suspect to UK, we decided to go to inquest. And everything what we received during not inquest but public inquiry, all evidence based on this allegation of Russia state, and particularly these people who committed this crime and who killed my husband. And now all this evidence being grounded in this case in a human rights of court. And now we know it's not only my husband, Alexander Litvinenko, was poisoned in 2006. He was attempting to poison Skripal, Sergei Skripal and Yulia Skripal here in the UK. And an innocent English citizen, Don Sturgeon, just died from the same poisoning nerve agent Novichok. And this all based in this case in the Court of Human Rights.
We know elections just took place in Russia, and of course Putin has won again. What sort of reaction do you anticipate from the Russian government now?
I would like to remind you another recent case, just almost more than a year ago, was another very well-known person, opposition politician Alexei Navalny, was poisoned in Russia. And it was a lot of evidence provided he was poisoned there. And Russia refused to accept it and said he never been poisoned in Russia. And of course, for what we'll try to say happened in UK, Russia always refused. And Russian authorities always blamed anybody, but not themselves. But every time when we builded this case, now it's European Court of Human Rights got this decision. Russia is responsible for this murder. I think it became stronger and stronger. It gives this all of us hope one day this regime, ruthless, anti-democratical dictatorship will change, and this case will be helping to another one to find a truth for what happened against people we still don't know. It's not just like people I named, but it's a lot of people who've been poisoned, killed, and still unnamed.
And we've seen now that this justice is being done, that the blame is being laid at the feet of the Kremlin. This does give, as you say, hope to people that the crimes of the Putin regime will be exposed and known by the whole world. But will it stop future attacks by that regime? We've seen multiple attacks now on British soil carried out by the Russian state against people living in this country. Will international shame be enough to stop any more attacks of a similar nature taking place?
Unfortunately, I can't guarantee. Only things what makes me feel more stronger to ask politicians, people providing business, to understand and thinking not maybe twice, but 3 times, who are you going to do business with? Is it enough just to think about your profit or believe how this state might using this money you provided to this, particularly the state, to kill people, innocent people, and provide this anti-human politics? Looks like all around the world. I think this is another one. Not provide another killing, but asking people to think more about this.
The Russian government has been referred to as a mafia state for quite some time now. It's been referred to as an international pariah. The UK government has sanctions against individuals and indeed the country as a whole. At what point do we have a material change in relations between the UK and Russia? How much further can we go to, as you say, highlight the real crimes of this regime and make people absolutely think twice, 3 times, 100 times before they think of doing business with it?
Of course, you can't ignore Russia, because Russia is a great state. It's a beautiful country. But unfortunately, not anymore what I believe, I remember. But you have another country in the world like North Korea, anti-democratical, and when you provide that relationship, you know what are you doing with who. And unfortunately, Russia now most in this side, like anti-democratical, without any proper justice, is not any freedom of speech. We still have some independent television channels and some newspapers, but we never know what day they might be finished their work, or they became foreign agent and they would be not accepted inside of Russia. And this is all need to be in account. Every time when you try to think what you're doing with Russia as a business partner or political partner, you need to understand, is it not a reliable partner? Because human rights what completely don't exist anymore in this country can't be accepted by you who are provided these human rights in your own country. Or you just need to understand all rules, like what are you going to do with Afghanistan, or what are you going to do with North Korea? Unfortunately, it looks like now the same rules for Russia.
Well, Marina Litvinenko, we really appreciate your time here this morning on GB News. I just wanted to ask you, finally, about what prospects there are for reform in Russia. What with political adversaries of Mr. Putin and finding themselves poisoned or indeed imprisoned, and the elections going the way they did, obviously rigged just over the weekend. What chance is there for reform and hope for the people of Russia?
I might be very optimistic, but I believe to new generation. I believe to people like Alexei Navalny, who are absolutely brave, honest, and this generation, not only one person, it's a lot of them. And it is difficult to provide what they want to do in Russia, but I believe they might have more and more supporters. But another very pessimistic view, last general election just happened last weekend, shows you can't win doing this in the right way because it's not election. Everything what you try to do under control, even independent people from a state party try to be elected to Russian parliament. It's not possible. You even not so much oppositioner, but you can't. They want just only loyal people belonging to United Russia Party members provided to Russian parliament. This is unfortunately not very positive. This is all under control. What is another way? I can't say this because I don't like any dramatical change in Russia. I mean, what Russian people might be suffered.
Yeah.
We will see. But what I really believe, something must be changed soon. It can't be like this anymore for long.
Well, Marina Litvinenko, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate that.